those facilities.
Okay, thank you. Carl, can you address it from the chamber?
Well, perhaps just to add just a little bit to it is the whole buildup hasn't been precisely defined yet, and that won't be defined until after the EIS has a record of decision. That will tell you where you can build and what you can build and how you can build. And then they have to define precisely what units are going to come here. And all of those factors will add to the list as to what needs you will have for workforce, both in terms of the buildup, but more importantly, what we're going to need after the buildup, because the really good jobs are going to be the ones that come with the servicing of the facilities and the core activities of the military unit that's, that they're working for.
Mary?
The Guam Hotel and Restaurant Association, as I mentioned earlier, does its annual wage survey. What I'd like to state is, everything that we do, of course, we understand that the buildup is impending, but a lot of what the activities that we're driven by are separate from the buildup. And I think that's what we need to focus on. We have to look at pre-buildup, during the buildup, and then post, as Carl had mentioned. And what GHRA does is we work together with all of our member organizations and industry stakeholders to understand the climate. I mean, we've been through so many peaks and valleys in the last 40 years of tourism, and together with buildups and with base closures. So I think we have a lot of experience and a lot of history in seeing these ramp-ups and when we come down from different types of large-scale growth. And so what you'll find is that you have to look at the organizations, make use of the organizations that are here to help you give that historical information of what has been done in the past, whether it's through H2 workers or developing local talent that Maria had mentioned. In addition to the wage survey to understand the historicals, we also have statistics. And we have statistics since the 90s. GHRA also works in partnership with U.S. Department of Labor for our registered apprenticeship program. So we have that program that we have a lot of our employer groups engaged in, so that we're constantly training and developing and building on that capacity. You have to remember that the buildup isn't just about construction workers. They're going to need marketing, sales, office personnel, accountants. And we're already starting to see cannibalization taking place in private sector into some of the federal jobs as they're posturing for this buildup. So a lot of people are preparing now, and a lot of people are moving within jobs to different service industries. And so the tourism industry, what we've seen is, we're constantly having to grow, and that's okay, because the tourism industry is ever changing anyway. And a lot of what we have is seasonality. And even though tourism has been down this year, it doesn't mean that our landscape really has changed that much, because you still have to deal with operations of a hotel and maintain its quality and service and integrity as a brand. So there's still a level of how we operate, and so there's still a level of service we have to commit to. And so that's why within our committees, like engineering and environmental, there's a lot of soul sourcing within each other and sharing of resources. Even in our housekeeping committee and other large departments with HR, we do on-call employment, where we share our lists of on-call employees together with each other. And then we also work together to share candidates if there need be. GHRA on its website also posts positions where the HR managers post directly. That also links directly to the Guam Department of Labor website, so that they don't have to do double entry or even access multiple services. They just go to one area and it's shared. All the resources are shared, and that's the benefit of going through an organization such as ours. Also with the Tourism Education Council, we've been working together with them on something what we call the pre-apprenticeship program. We want to take on this, what we call the learning continuum, where we look at the students and the students who join organizations such as the Tourism Education Council to consider a career in hospitality when you're in middle school and high school. And then once they're in high school, they start this vocational track. It's the same as in any of the auto or construction trades that can be done in high school. So a lot of the middle school students are being introduced to careers in these different industries, and then by high school they can get into that vocational track and then get employed, get internships, and actually get into registered apprenticeship program, which means free education and actually a job while they're going to school. So we have multiple platforms that we work from, and GHRA certainly provides that bridge for everybody to work in. You know, two pieces of our mission is that we build community relations and we publicize the value and the benefits of tourism so that everybody will want to support it but also want to work in it. And that's something we always have to remember and keep in mind.
Okay, thank you. James, you have anything to add?
Yes, I do. In that GAO report, they were talking that the military would have 1,600 permanent jobs, you know, inside the base to operate the transfer of these 8,000 Marines and their families to Guam. But I think what's more important is to look at the jobs that are going to be created outside the base, which are going to be in the thousands, definitely more than 1,600. I don't think we need too much concern about the 1,600, but rather the other thousands of jobs outside the base. And this is where we put the government of Guam to task to provide a comprehensive study on what these jobs will be, what our career landscape would look like maybe 10 years from now after this military buildup, whether it be through the Department of Labor or the Agency for Human Resource Development or through the Guam Workforce Investment Board. I think there needs to be a comprehensive study to determine what careers are actually going to be needed or created post buildup. We know immediately there's going to be 15 to 20,000 jobs in construction. Well, those are only temporary jobs. Of course, we want to have a higher skilled workforce in construction to take on the maintenance, but we're only looking to about 6,000 to 8,000 of those positions that will run after, or that would happen after the buildup. But I think we really need to do a comprehensive study on where we're at today, maybe where we're at 5 years from now, and definitely where we're going to be 10 years from now. Only then can we provide that information to our education institutions like the Department of Education, like the University of Guam, like Guam Community College, to develop curriculum that is going to help fill the jobs that are being created because of this buildup. And I think if we look at federal grant money to conduct this study, I think we'll be better off in that position than just shooting blind and saying we need to train carpenters, electricians, people in the restaurant industry, nursing. I mean, we need to find a comprehensive study to really know where we're going to be at 10 years from now.
Okay, thank you, James. All right, our next question, starting with you, Maria. How do we establish a system to more adequately forecast future needs? That's just what James was talking about. Who will be responsible for this system? Ideas?
Sure. In February of this year, the department submitted an application to the U.S. Department of Labor for a Regional Innovations Grant. And James is correct. We have to go chase grants and get the funding. But the grant is really for a planning grant to help us just do that. I mean, just exactly what he's saying. And it's not just looking at what is it that Guam needs, but we're going to be looking at it on a regional basis. Unfortunately, Guam doesn't have very good data. I mean, a lot of the agencies as far as valid data, but that's one of the $250,000 that we submitted to the U.S. Department of Labor for the Regional Innovations Grant is to address those. James is correct that we have, our department has yet to submit or issue a short or long-term projection. What we do have, though, however, is we have a lot of data, historical data. We continue to monitor all the employers. How many employers have been actually using H-2B? So we do have that historically for the last 10 years, identifying how many H-2B do we have here on the island, and what are those occupations. Because keep in mind that any employer bringing in temporary foreign worker, they all have to go through the process of doing a 30-day labor testing. So that's an indicator to us that these are the types of positions that we need to start training our local people. Otherwise, if we do have people who are interested in those occupations, then our local employers will not necessarily then be submitting their requests to bring in temporary hires from foreign areas.
Okay. Carl?
Of course, we need to have this study done, and there's experts that do that. We read nationally, for instance, that colleges are turning out a shortage of engineers or whatever